What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I'll be doing a technical analysis breakdown for Meta platforms with the ticker symbol FB. Remember that if you want a chart analysis guaranteed to be done, please read the description below. Before we begin, please take a second to give the video a like and subscribe for more chart analysis. I appreciate all those who have already subscribed and liked my videos. Just a reminder that this video is for entertainment purposes only, does not constitute any financial advice. I will first go over what I see on the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. So it looks like Facebook continues to sell off. It even exceeded my expectations. My first target was right at the 277 level because I saw a measured move that could potentially play out. You can see that was the first leg, this was the second leg, and my target was right at the 277 level. However, after looking at the chart again, I think I should have made my measured move bigger because this would make more sense. This would be the first leg down, and this would be the second leg down, and then the target for Facebook would be right at the 267 level. However, even then, earnings still gap down much lower, and I believe there are a couple reasons for that. It's very hard to see on the daily chart unless you zoom out really far, so I will show you guys on the weekly chart in a little bit, but it makes more sense on why we're getting this massive sell-off. Just a little quick thing is that you can see that there was probably a lot of longs trapped right here. I'm pretty sure they were buying this breakout, and then they had their stop losses all piled up over here. Right when earnings came, they got stopped out. It was a massive squeeze for the longs, and they had to get out of their position because they got trapped. So we're still seeing lower prices because normally a lot of people, when they see this massive sell-off and they like the company, they start buying right after that sell-off at the 236 237 level. But you don't want to be the first person going in, because usually they trap people like that, because the market knows who the impatient people are, and the impatient people don't get rewarded, the patient people do. So you can see that we're still selling off, so the patient people are still waiting for the right opportunity to get in the market. So I think Facebook has still room to fall down. You can see that if I zoom on the chart, even though we are at support, we could get a little bounce here, but I have a lower target that Facebook or Meta platforms can potentially reach. So we are bouncing off of support. We're not getting the bounce right now, but we closed right at support. So this could lead to a small bounce because we are getting very far away from the EMA. So this is extremely oversold. So we could see a snapback soon, especially since you can see this was previous resistance, which now has turned into support, because we bounced off of it quite a while and we came right back to support. So we could get a bounce here, but I'm still leaning towards lower prices, and I'll show you guys why on the weekly chart. And one more quick thing on the daily chart, you can see that this is important right here. You can see that there was this gap back here in August of 20 or July of 2020 that was not filled. You can see this empty space right here, and then price action tried to come back and fill it quite a few times. You can see that was the first time right here, another time, and another time. So if the price does something this many times and fails, it's most likely going to do the opposite, and it did do that, which it went up. But eventually the market filled in this gap. We came right back to it because the market doesn't like these empty spaces. So we did leave a huge empty space right here. So eventually this might get filled up too. As long as Facebook continues to grow and it's not like a dying company or anything, we could see this gap filled. Even just technically, even if it does really bad Facebook in the coming years, we could probably see this gap filled just based off of technicals. You'd be surprised. So we did fill in this gap right here, and there are a few more gaps that could be filled. You can see there's one right here, right at the 193 level, 192 level. There's a small gap right here. There's a couple of the small gaps that could be filled, but we don't have to fill every single one. I'm just pointing it out that this gap right here was big, and price action tried to fill it a few times, but they failed. And then now we reversed to all-time highs, but then price action slowly came back down to fill in the gap. I'm not saying they came back down all the way here just to fill in this gap, but I'm just saying usually they try to fill it, and this would have been a good opportunity to fill it, and it looks like they just did. So it looks like Facebook could get a bounce from here, but I'm suspecting some other pattern to play out, and I'll show you guys right now on the weekly chart. So here's the weekly chart for Meta platforms, and you can see the price action since 2012 and 2013. And I'm going to show you guys this zoomed out chart for one reason, is that because we are in this massive uptrend, and normally when we come off the upper side of the uptrend, we go to the lower side. So it looks like we did get a little double test. You can see if I zoom in on the chart, on this weekly chart very close, you can see that we got 2 touches at the top side, which is bearish. So it's like a little double top, and it's at the top side, resistance side of the uptrend, and that normally sends prices to the lower side. So it makes sense why we're seeing this harsh sell-off, especially since we were at the upper side of the channel. Normally we slowly work our way back to the lower side. So let me show you guys this right here. You can see that first the channel was like this, and this would also make sense too, because this was a large sell-off also at the upper side of the channel, and prices slowly worked its way back to the lower side. So I think that's the same pattern they're trying to play out right now. If I just drag it up, because we did overshoot the top side and we kept on going higher, so maybe it's a 2-tier channel, something like this, and it just makes sense. It tells the story very well, where this midline is acting as both support and resistance. You can see it's acting as support over here and resistance. So I think this midline is correctly drawn. We do have 3 touches on the bottom side, so this is a confirmed channel. So I think we're pulling back to the lower side of the channel, which would be right at the $200 level, and possibly even the 190 level. So I think that's what Facebook is trying to reach, and that's why we're still continuing to fall until these lower price targets are met. I think we can continue down to right to the 210 level, get some type of bounce, fool the impatient traders thinking that's the bottom, and then make one more dump before continuing higher. So that's what I think can play out. Another thing that can play out is just we get a V bottom reversal from here, and we don't even look back again at these price targets, maybe something like that. So that's another possibility, but I'm still bullish. I don't think this is the end for Meta platforms. As long as we're still inside of this channel, even if we do get a breakout side, I'm still expecting a retest of the previous highs. So this is not really that crazy to me. I've seen worse, and still it led to higher prices for a company. So let's take a look at the Fibonacci retracement from the lows to the highs, and you can see that we just surpassed the 382 retracement, and we're approaching the 50%, which is kind of near my target, right at that $200 level. So then again, you can see that normally healthy trends about 50% to even 61.8% retracement. So this is really not that much, or really that bad if you just look at it at a bigger picture. So that's why I showed you guys the weekly chart, because this just looks like a pullback to me, and we could just see a resumption of the uptrend as soon as the price is stabilized. So since we are seeing a lot of selling and high volatility, it could be a while before we get a continuation of the trend. But I'm still expecting that, as long as Facebook doesn't go to like something ridiculous like maybe like 128 or like 120. So as long as we don't get really low and we start a downtrend, then I'm still going to be expecting prices to get a bounce at these support levels and continue higher. So this really doesn't look that crazy to me. Facebook has had large sell-offs in the past. You can see from the highs to the lows right here is about a 43%, and this was back in 2018, and you can see that it lasted about 154 days. That was a 44% drop. This one is about 41%, and it's only been 189 days, so it's been a little longer. You can see that right now it's 189 days. About, let me see, I'm including some other wrong data or some other price action that's not right from the high. So let's take it right from the highs to about right now. So it's about 154 days, kind of about the same, 41% drop. And let's take this again from the highs to the lows, about 161 days, 44% drop. So Facebook has had something similar in the past, and it did continue to trend higher. So I don't think this is the end, but it could be. That's a low probability as of right now. It's still a little early, because even though we got a sell off, a large sell off before, it still sent prices higher. So it's not like this is the end, and I don't think this is gonna be over for Facebook. I'm still bullish. I don't own any shares. I don't really care about the company. Do I want to own it at these price levels? It's very tempting, but I'm just more interested in other things. But like I said before, I'm just looking at it technically. I don't think it's over. I've seen big pullbacks before in a lot of stocks, and it still led to higher prices. So as long as Facebook doesn't get really low, I'm still bullish based off of support that's incoming, and then that could just lead to higher prices. So that's all I have for Facebook, and I'll give you guys an update if anything else drastically changes. But this should be a good analysis for until we see maybe some bounce, and then we'll go from there. Thank you for stopping by and checking out my video. Make sure to check out the rest of the channel, since you might be surprised at what you can learn. Leave a comment down below on where you think prices are headed. Also share the video if you want your friends to learn about the markets. Lastly, I appreciate any feedback to help improve the channel, since I want to deliver great content to you guys. See you next time, and bye.